This is Dead Serious, a show about short horror stories worthy of discussion. I'm Dead Palette, and No Sleep is a subreddit for realistic horror story. No, it's not. What's going on here? We're going to be reading I Am a World War II Historian, and this story about when I found a Nazi laboratory in the middle of the Black Forest with about 250 upvotes by Mazkaz, uploaded 25 days ago as of me reading this. I read that title and then read the first paragraph and immediately called bullshit. So I'm going to have fun with this. As the title said, I'm a World War II historian. I don't operate with any major network. So that's not what historians do. Historians don't just work with the History Channel. They're usually college professors. We're off to a wonderful start here. I instead to YouTube videos, not I instead upload to YouTube or something like that or write research papers. I instead to YouTube videos and have 2 with 5 O's subscribers. That's a lot of subscribers for a historian. My name is James Cook. I sound like a fucking conquistador. How does that work? I have so many questions. How does James Cook sound like a conquistador name? Whatever. And I recently went to a Nazi laboratory in the Black Forest. So, tons of nonsense immediately, just right off the bat. And I just visited No Sleep, just see hey, what's going on here? What's bubbling up to the surface? And this is, every time I visit No Sleep, this is what I get. Just ridiculous nonsense right up front, on the nose, right on the palate, just boom, bullshit. Totally realistic. So there is a Black Forest there. I'm expecting that we're going to run into Slender Man. That is legitimately my expectation. We will run into Slender Man. This is not how someone who is a historian writes. Someone who is learned writes, even if they're young. And also, where's your YouTube channel? Why aren't you linking it? If you have that many subscribers, why aren't you just making a YouTube video? All these questions and more to never be answered. Alright, it started when my sources told me about the lab. Apparently it was used for testing on captured Jews, Poles, Russians, and dissidents. The exact tests aren't known, but I figured I would find out. The sources, which consist of fans, urban explorers, and others, told me the location of the lab. It's located in the Black Forest, a beautiful area with hills and forest. Also, I hear that a very good tea comes from there. I pulled my car to the side of the place at around 7 a.m. I opened the car door and breathed in the sight. I took a picture of the entrance with greenery creeping into the window, a single window on the far left, on the left of the door. The concrete entrance looked like it belonged in the cliffside. It was honestly one of the most beautiful places I'd ever been. That paragraph overall I think is quite nice. The bit about, you're pulling up there at about 7 a.m. Oddly specific. Not sure why we're bringing up this information. And I think that, we're just kind of skipping over the sources or whatever, but the description of the place is good. I can picture myself there. I opened the heavy steel door and entered the lab. There was a hallway to my left, a machine gun pointed at a hallway as front of me. I read that correctly, ladies and gentlemen. It looked like a machine gun. The magazine was fully empty, every last bullet fired. Near the machine gun, I found a few bits of white stuff near it, with the concrete faded a deep red. You can probably guess what happened. No, I really can't. White stuff near it faded deep red. What white stuff? Like the red blood, but what is the white stuff? Liquefied skeletons? I don't know. I took the hallway to the left. There were 5 doors on each side of the hallway. The right door contained file cabinets. The cabinets were taken out with charred bits of paper inside them. Whoever was here last burned the papers. anything I could read contained useless information. For example, keep a close eye on, and then it trailed off. Then the rest would either be burned or unintelligible. That's weird that you don't have like any photographs or, pictures, considering you're a YouTuber Nazi historian. You wouldn't take any pictures of this stuff. The left door, wouldn't this be in German? Wouldn't that even be written in German? Whatever. The left doors of the hallway contained offices. In 4 of them, everything was black, charred, or burned. In the 5th one, I saw a skeleton of a German officer laying on the desk. With the wood and concrete stained red. Something happened here, I thought. I got to putting removable lights in the first part of the building and then went outside to set up a camp. By the time I had finished, it was 3 in the afternoon. I re-entered the building to find the lights ripped off the walls. I turned off. I put them back, but kept them off. I assumed a rat or squirrel got to them. What? You're hanging up lights and you're assuming a rat and a squirrel knocked them all down, as I had seen them earlier. Wouldn't you even assume that it was a human being at least? Oh man. As I had seen them earlier, and there were a lot of them. I was wrong. When I finished putting the lights back up, I decided to get an early bedtime. It was about 8 p.m. at this point. I climbed into my sleeping bag, put my gun within arm's reach, and went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night. The area around my camp was pitch black. I barely saw the outline of my car, and it was only 10 feet away from where I was sleeping. I got up groggy and rubbed my eyes. I then thought I saw something move, something big. I rubbed my eyes again and saw the same thing, saw the thing again. I grabbed my secondary. Your secondary? Is this a video game? Your secondary. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, your secondary? M1 1911, and I also keep an AR-15 nearby just in case. It was currently in my car, and a flashlight. Then walked out of my tent and turned the flashlight on. With the bright shone into the tree line. It was still dark as hell though. I could barely see. Now that the light shone through the trees, I didn't see anything moving. I moved the flashlight back to the camp, passing over the old WWII lab. The door was open and the lights were on. I swung my flashlight back and turned it off. I saw the yellow, decaying lights of the lab, and I looked at the door. Something was beckoning me with its rotting arms and grossly unproportional limbs and head. So, rotting arms. So it's just another generic humanoid cryptid is what I'm getting out of this. I shot it 3 times. The thing quivered before running back in and closing the door. The moment the door closed, the yellow lights went off and I went back into my camp and shook in my sleeping bag until I fell asleep. Why? Drive away. It's a monster. It's a literal monster, dude. It is a literal Nazi experiment monster that is apparently immortal because it would have to be insanely old. It's a monster, dude. Get out of there. What are you doing? You're just going to sleep there with your secondary? When I woke up, the sun was out and the birds were chirping. I wondered if the thing was just a dream. I looked over at the mudslide beside my car and saw a footstep, a large, human-shaped footprint. That's where I'm at while typing this. I'll update you where I can. I was originally going to post this somewhere else, and I did, but they wrote it off as fake. I can see why, because this is all fake. Where's the receipts? Why didn't you take a photograph? You have a cell phone. You're apparently writing this on something. I'm sure that is photographic capable. So here I came. Again, I'll update when I can. I'm scared out of my fucking mind. I'm grabbing my AR. A handgun isn't going to kill this thing. Why wouldn't it? Is the thing bulletproof? Why it's is it a bulletproof monster? Do we know that it's a bulletproof monster? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I am not mad at the author of this story. The author of this story is living their best life, writing a story that they want people to read, and it seems as though a lot of people enjoyed it. 94% upvoted. Means only 6% of people didn't like this enough to where they downvoted it. But the 94% of people who are upvoting this are the people I'm disappointed in. The story's skeleton, so far, isn't bad. I'm going to read the other part in another video, podcasty thing. But I'll say that the skeleton of this is perfectly fine. It's actually a pretty interesting idea. It's a good twist. There is a forest somewhere in Germany where there were experiments happening, and then there's like Nazi Jew monster that was made that is apparently immortal or has an expanded lifespan. And I like that. That's a cool idea. You're going there, but everything else outside of the skeleton of the story is going wrong and is hurting the believability. This person doesn't write in a phrase that would make me think that they are a World War II historian, that they are a learned individual. They are apparently taking weapons from America over to, they're getting them transported through customs into Germany. I don't know what German gun laws are, but I can't imagine that they're as good as American gun laws, as free as American gun laws. They're making weird assumptions about this thing being bulletproof to where handguns won't kill it for some reason, but an AR will. An AR doesn't have a bullet caliber that much bigger than an M1 1911, so I don't know why one would kill it and the other one wouldn't. But I also just want to know more about the sources and, why you have a YouTube channel. Just cut out the YouTube channel part. We don't need that. And it's clearly verifiable that there is no such YouTube channel. But those are my thoughts overall. Do join me on the next part when I read the second part of this 3-part World War II Nazi rotted flesh experiments time. Do check out the Fear Fiction podcast, link below if you enjoyed this. You will definitely enjoy that much more than me yakking by myself. And on to our sponsor of the day, which is AR, stands for Fully Automatic Assault Rifle Killing Machine.